What's going on, guys? John Elder here from codemy.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to convert integers to strings in Golang. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to convert integers to strings. But before we get started, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off membership. It's all my courses, videos, and books for one-time fee, which is insanely cheap. All right, in the last video, we converted strings to integers. In this video, we're going to convert integers to strings. And there's a couple of different ways to do this. We'll look at them both very quickly in this video. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other Go videos in this series. So check that out if you haven't so far. All right, so I've got a file. I'm calling it intconvert.go. It's our basic Go starter code that we've always got. And the first thing we need to do is, again, import that strconv, string convert. Same thing we did in the last video. So let's come down here. Let's create a variable. I'm going to call it var mynum. And this is going to be an integer. And let's just set it equal to 41. So let's create another variable. And we could just use shorthand. I'm going to call this mynum2. And here we want to use the strconv, string convert function that we just imported up here. And now we want to use I to A. So in the last video, we used A to I. In this video, we want to use I to A. I stands for integer, A stands for letter, I guess. So integer to a letter, and then we just pass in what we want. So we want to convert mynum. So now we can print this to the screen. We can go fmt.println, and then just pass in mynum2. And we can run this, but we need to see, hey, is this actually an integer or not? So we can add Bob to it. Now, if this is a string, if it's been converted, it should print on the screen 41 Bob, because that's what happens when you concatenate two strings. It just smushes them together. If it hasn't been converted, we're going to get an error. So let's go ahead and save this, head over to our terminal. I'm in my C Go stuff directory, and let's run go run intconvert.go. And boom, we see 41 Bob. We can also test this out by trying to add a number to this, right? So 41 plus 9, let's say. So if this is an integer, it will return 50. If it's a string, if it's actually been converted, this will return an error because you can't add numbers and strings together. So if we run this again, we're see, yep, we get an error because mismatched types, string and int. So we have successfully converted this thing. So that's the easiest way to do this. That's probably what you're going to use most of the time. There's another way you can use something called a Sprintf. Now up here in this FMT package, there's something called Sprintf. And Sprintf allows us to do all kinds of stuff to strings, input and output. So what we want to do here is let's create another variable. I'm just going to call this mynum3. It's going to be an integer. Let's set this equal to, 100. And now let's create a second one. Let's go mynum4. And I'm just going to use shorthand here. And here, we're going to use our FMT library package, whatever, and then we're going to use the Sprintf function. And this takes two arguments. And the first argument is, think of it like a placeholder, right? So we want this, and the placeholder we're going to have is V. V stands for value. We're going to say, hey, whatever value this is, in this case, 100, you do something with it, right? Well, what are we working on here? We're working on our mynum variable. So we can just do that. This will convert basically almost anything into a string. So even, we don't really care that it's an integer, whatever this is. If it's a Boolean, it'll convert it to a string, I think. So that's all there is to it. So very simple. So here we can fmt.println, and we can print out now our mynum4, which is, what we called this guy here after we did the conversion. And we could test it by, again, trying to add Bob to this. So we head back over here, run this guy again. Uh-oh, what has gone wrong? We forgot to change this back. Okay, so we put a screen, run this guy again. We get 100 plus Bob, which is what we would expect if it has been converted, which it has. So pretty simple, two different ways to do this. Second way, let's say Sprintf, and that's all there is to it. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 50 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. showing over 150,000 students learn to code just like you. My name is John Elder from codingme.com, and I'll see you in the next video.